Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we are here with Coffee and MTG. Today is December 16th, 2020. So brew up a cup of coffee, and we keep brewing up the magic. First half of this show, we do Q&A and general magic discussion. So if you want to be part of the conversation, don't forget 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. And of course, in the second part, we do Decklist review. So if you've got a 75, you want some feedback on, you ever want to shoot, hey, take a look at my deck list. What do you think? You better believe we do that on this show. You can be randomly eligible to receive that feedback both from myself and the community. All right, so let's get into it. Good morning, Frederick. And as people start pouring in, Lord Magicus said, let's talk a little bit about Penny Dreadful. Merfolk actually has a relatively good Penny Dreadful deck. So if anyone's not familiar with Penny Dreadful, I believe each card needs to be worth like 2 cents or less on Magic the Gathering Online. This is a format where it does not pay to win necessarily. It pays for cards to not be very popular. And Merfolk has actually like a lot of really good stuff. I mean, look, we get to use Mishra's Factory, Curse Catcher's Mist Caller. We still have Lords like Coral Helm Commander, Mass of the Pearl Trident, Mararegery, Merfolk Sovereign, Silver Gill Adept. I'm not sure about the Merfolk Looter. I'm not thrilled about this card. Maybe it's the best card that we can use. But I mean, we got like a lot of really stock Merfolk cards in here. Not to mention, we also still have good graveyard hate with like Tormod's Crypt. We still have interaction counter spells like Spell Pierce. But what's this other stuff? Rebuild, return all artifacts to their owner's hands, and Prism Ring. When ETB, choose a color. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen color, you gain a life. I guess that can be some good anti-burn tech. But if anyone's interested in getting into Penny Dreadful on Magic the Gathering Online, this might be the type of deck that you would want to scoop up while it is still Penny Dreadful legal. Of course, if we promote it too much, everything's going to go to 3 cents and all of a sudden everything's going to be banned. So it actually pays to be like sort of undercover. No one actually knows the true power of this Penny Dreadful Merfolk list. So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. I enjoy everyone who shows up every single day. We have a lot of fun over here. So Lord Magicus is here. Good morning. Good morning, Jarl. As people start pouring in from Facebook and YouTube, both YouTube channels. What else is going on? There is some rumblings. There's some rumblings about cards. People getting peeved at cards being OP in Modern. Hold on, where is Saffron Olive? Where are you? Let me find you, Saffron Olive. Wow, you don't have a blue check mark, Saffron Olive? What's going on here? Oh, I might have to go a little bit far back. Saffron Olive becoming less and less sold on Primeval Titan's existence in Modern. Didn't mind Amulet between the Summer Bloom banning and Core Set 2020. Both Dried and Field of the Dead in the format, Titan decks can win in too many different ways and are too resilient. That might be the are these Titan decks too OP right now? Are they getting out of line? They were relatively fair in the past. I mean, yeah, sure. Primeval Titan did have like Amulet did have their busted draws just as they do now, but there was definitely a larger fail rate at the time, and there was a decent chunk of interaction to eat up, Azusa, what's it called, the Scout, but now this the Dryad of the Elysian Groves now almost always ramps, always blocks too, very good on defense. And of course, facilitates Valakut. So some people are like, yeah, ban because of Field of the Dead / Valakut is too strong. So what? Do we get rid of both of them? Do we get rid of one of them? I mean, what if we ban Field of the Dead? I mean, does that change enough? Field of the Dead does change a lot. If you axe Field of the Dead at the very least from what I heard, Death Shadow decks, their biggest problem is Field of the Dead. They could kill with Temur Battle Rage, but they can't because the stupid zombie tokens are enough to block and pull through for us. And I was looking at the metagame. Like, if you looked at my top 10 decks to beat video, we have so much big mana on here. We have like Reclaimer Titan, Amulet Titan, Tron. So Uro, you could even say Uro is a big mana deck. Is there a shot in hell that they're going to reprint like Wasteland for Modern? Because like we are getting better tools. Like Cleansing Wildfire was a game changer. It did put a big hurt on the Tron decks, put a big hurt on the Eldrazi Tron decks. Let's get Cleansing Wildfire here. But we need more. Apparently we need more. This is just not enough land hate. Like Legacies, Cloud Posts and stuff like that, they're all kept in check because Wasteland exists. If you don't know what Wasteland is, it's just it's strip mine. If you don't know what strip mine is, well, we'll look at Wasteland. Tap, add a colors to your mana pool, or you can sacrifice Wasteland, destroy target non-basic land. So the Legacy doesn't have any big mana problems because this card exists, but we don't have this card. We can't interact with those Karoo lands. We can interact very well with Tron land. I think our best interaction, honestly, is just Cleansing Wildfire, and that's restricted to people playing red. Good morning, Canadian Bacon. Thought you were doing this on Twitch. We've moved to Facebook. Sorry, we moved to Facebook and YouTube because more people appreciate it here. I still do gameplay on Twitch though. What happened to Day 2 Dryden? Doesn't post anymore because he's got a career now. He's working on his career. He'll be back. They always come back. Do you think that Mill will eventually hate out Titan? No, because I don't think Mill can be good enough by itself. See, Mill could have a good weekend and crush the Titan decks. This is very true. Let's get a Mill card here. Archive Trap. So it's true, like, Mill has a great game against Titan, but the problem for Mill is that there's in some way, Mill is it's a very fragile deck. It just takes like one Gaia's Blessing to screw over its entire game plan. I'm seeing Tron decks and some control decks play with a Kozilek, like a single Kozilek, so that if you try to mill their deck out, the Kozilek hits the graveyard and then it gets shuffled back into their library. Kozilek Butcher of Truths. So whenever Kozilek Butcher of Truth is put in a graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into their library. So whoops, there goes that plan. So that's the point. Like it's a fragile strategy, the Mill strategy. So on any particular weekend, Mill can go just dominate all these big mana strategies, but can it do it next weekend? When it has a target on its back, can it deal with the hate? And that's Mill's biggest problem, is that it doesn't do so well when decks want to hate it out. It's a really good deck when people are not seeing it coming. Titan folds to so much. Like, what incidental hate though? We mean Titan keeps other decks in. What does Titan keep in line exactly? You mean like everything? I don't know at all how Titan keeps, like, you're making it sound like Titan is keeping other busted decks in line when really Titan is the busted deck to be kept in line, in my opinion. I've always hated the Titan matchup. I didn't mind the Titan Shift matchup. I've always hated the Amulet matchup because their mana is just ridiculously fast. And that's the thing with Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I now feel like even if my opponent doesn't have an Amulet, I'm still screwed, because they could have a Dryad and then eventually put Valakut in play and then just start shooting my stuff anyway with by just playing lands from their hand. Good morning, Luwati. You can't have both Wasteland and Ren and 6 in the modern format together. That's true. That is actually true. Ren and 6 got banned for this reason. So maybe they're going to ban Ren and 6 and print Wasteland. I doubt that's actually going to happen. I'm not foreseeing Wasteland coming into the format by any means. But who knows? Who knows what they'll spring on us in Modern Horizons 2? Who knows what they'll spring on us in Modern Horizons 2? Could bring more. Well, they should have brought land hate in the first place. They didn't bring enough land hate. Oh yeah, you better believe Wasteland would completely change everything. Okay, so Siege Harris, I'm convinced that Locket of Yesterday's is a really good card, but I don't see it anywhere, and I'm too dumb to make it work. Am I just wrong? Is it too conditional? Let's look at Locket of Yesterday. Okay, let's see if this card is good or bad. What's going on? And now, 1-mana artifact. Hey, I like it already. Spells you play cost 1 less to play for each card with the same name as that spell in your graveyard. Ooh. Maybe this could be played in Storm, but the problem is you still need the second copy of the card. Either that, or you need to have some sort of self-dredging plan or something. I can see the problem. Like it's not any spell in your hand. The spell already has to be in the graveyard for you to get this discount, and that may not happen. Period. Even in an entire game, you could play Locket of Yesterday and you never find the second copy of any particular card. So I don't. It's way too situational. Mill needs Tormod's Crypt or anything to exile stuff to try to shuffle itself into the library. You mean to prevent? Yeah, I mean, they do already play stuff like Surgical Extraction and what's the card? It's always the morning. You know, you always find me lost in train of thought because it's early, people. It's early. It's early, even for Nikachu. Nikachu has coffee, and it's still early in the morning. But they play Surgical Extraction to deal with things like Kozilek and stuff, but they still need it in their hand. Remember, if you want to get your comments, questions answered or comments seen, 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks afterwards helps. It at least helps me find your question in the sea of all the comments. I love the participation though. Everyone's doing great. If that strictly better birthing pod leak is real, no one will be playing prime time in 3 months. Okay, let's talk about what's that new card? Now I thought the same thing you did, Spencer, but there's a slight problem that doesn't make it strictly better. Just a slight problem. There is a new card spoiled. Let's talk about it. Does anyone know what it's called, though? I can't remember. What's the new spoiled card? Pyre of Heroes. Thank you so much, Joshua. All right. New card! Coming out in Kaldheim? Is that how it's... I was calling it Kaldheim for the longest time, but I think it's Kaldheim. Pyre of Heroes. This is the new birthing pod card. 2 colorless, or 2 generic. Activation cost 2 generic. Tap, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrifice creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only any time that you could cast a sorcery. So it's exactly like Birthing Pod, except instead of costing 4 mana, a Phyrexian and 3 generic cost 2, and instead of paying a Phyrexian and a generic, it costs 2. But there's a problem, and I'm like, how could they do this? This is just a strictly better Birthing Pod. But there's a downside to this, people. What's the downside? What is the downside? Why will this not take over the metagame, at all? It probably do. It might not even see play, period. Not a chance. We can talk about this. Is this good in mono blue? Silvergill Adept to Master Waves? Nope. It needs to be in a tribal deck. That's right. It only works in tribal. It says search your library for a creature card that shares the creature type. So let's say you try to combo off with Birthing Pod. Okay, so let's look at Kitchen. Kitchen Finks is an oof. So when you sacrifice the oof, you cannot find murderous red cap. You're just not, because this is a goblin assassin. You can't there's what is it, Corridor Monitor? Would be an excellent combo piece, but this is a construct, so it actually is pointless. This card won't actually do anything, so it's only for tribal decks. And the problem with tribal decks is like they want to keep things on the battlefield, unless you have arcane adaptation out. That might be a thing. That might be a thing. Could absolutely, maybe that's a combo that's possible, but then that's a 2-card combo, and that now we're already in fair territory. Birthing Pod before was like a 1-card combo. If you're gonna if you need 2 cards out, then that's a 2-card combo. Yeah, but is there a combo out of this? Like the typical combo cards are just really loose really loose cards. Kitchen Finks, Murderous Redcap, Corridor Monitor, Restoration, Angel. Like you're totally right, but is what's the combo? If there is anything at all, and I doubt it, at least today. I will not. Hey, I'll make no mistake. Maybe 20 years from now, this card is going to get busted. Maybe 20 years from now, when there's enough creature types that there's some combo to string together, it's good. But for like just a fair tribal deck, this is terrible. This is awful. Because okay, like all the any tribal deck, elves, zombies, humans, merfolk, goblins, they want board presence. That maybe this will be okay with zombies actually. But anyway, you want board presence, and if you're constantly you're paying 2 mana, taking up your turn to sacrifice the creature you already have for another creature in your deck, but you haven't really added anything to the board. You just replaced a card with another card. You want both cards on the battlefield at once. You know what I mean? No, this will be terrible in Slivers. Slivers wants multiple things on the battlefield, not one thing. You don't want to exchange one sliver, the muscle sliver, for like acidic sliver. You know what I mean? So you need to add to the board, not take away from the board. Yeah, you could put in Eldrazi, but same scenario. You want to add to the board. You don't want to be exchanging things. But wait, turn Master of Waves into Cash Raiders. Oh, Cash Raiders. And then I would tempo myself out even more. That's a classic. At the beginning of your upkeep, return a permanent you control to the owner's hand. That was a classic troll. But anyway, so this card is immediately not going to see any play. I'd be really surprised. Like, if there is something out there. We mean hope to hit arcane. I mean, if you need arcane adaptation, it's a 2-card combo, and it's totally fair. If you need 2 cards in play. Because what if I blow up the arcane adaptation in response to you sacrificing a creature? Then you're screwed, right? I can only think some sort of combo with Renegade Rallier. Let's look up Renegade Rallier. I mean, people are going to try stuff. So here's a human and a warrior. That's it's because what made Pod good was that the creatures that it looked for had something in common with each other. So and got value. So maybe I would say some very important ones would be Elemental. Hold on, what's Voice of Resurgence? Is this an Elemental? Oh, it's just one S? Oh, it is both elementals. So maybe between Elemental, Human, and Warrior, maybe there's something. Because those would be two pretty good sack outlets. There might be a value deck in there. I'm not going to say that there isn't a value deck to be had. Maybe there's a value deck to be had. But no combo. I think that will be super hard to do that within the creature types. One day it might be broken. Today, I don't think there's enough cards out there. Confirm this is the confounding conundrum of whatever the set called. Oh, maybe. Could be. Confounding conundrum did see play, but nothing crazy. It was really niche play, to be honest. I'm not particularly scared for this card. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should be scared. Maybe I should be shitting my pants. I mean, I will put it out there. Like, there probably is one day going to be a combo with this, but I think we would already see that combo today if there really was one. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what happens. We're doing all sorts of things, Torborg, but we are looking at one new card. the birthing pod, the new birthing pod card, and it is better in some ways. I am surprised they made this 2 mana because one day it will get broken. I don't know how long from now, and yeah, so one day it's going to get broken, and it's only 2 mana. This is insane. It's very, very cheap. Burrow into Nicol Bolas the Ravager since they are both Elder. Oh, are they? Elder Tribal? Okay, hold on. So we got Burrow. Oops. Elder Giant. Nicol Bolas. Where's the 4 mana one? Another Elder? What is Elder? So how many Elders do we got? Creature, Elder. Any colors, I don't care. Just out of curiosity, just for fun. Legal and modern. Let's go. We got a lot of Elders. Arcades, the Strategist. Oh, we've got the Dragons. All the Dragons. Galta. We have nothing. The cheapest one seems to be Uro. That's crazy. Oh, well. Okay. I had my fun looking at this nonsense. Just looking for the questions. So far, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. I can see you on Facebook. I can see you on YouTube. It's wonderful. I really appreciate everyone showing up every single day, making me a part of your daily routine. How do you like your coffee? These days, I used to put a lot of sugar in my coffee, but these days it's just black with milk. You know, I can live without the sugar, that's for sure. And, you know, as the older you get, the more you realize, sugar is just strictly just bad for you, period. So I have my sugar in my desserts and stuff, and I enjoy my desserts more. So I have my coffee just black with some milk. That's all. Very bland. Makes me feel like I'm healthy, though. So they make a cheaper version of Birthing Pod that can be tutored up with Tribute Mage and expect nothing to happen. So let's look this up. See, here's the deal, though. The thing that made... Okay, let's look up Tribute Mage. I don't even know about this card. Oh! Modern Horizons card that we have forgotten. ETB, search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost 2 or less. Reveal that card, put into your hand, then shuffle your library. Isn't this like a strictly better Trinket Mage? Human Wizard. Search your library for an artifact card, convert mana cost 2. Oh, it's just convert mana cost 2. Exactly. So you can look up swords. Hence why they're holding the big effing sword. With milk is specifically not black. All right. I got a creamy coffee. I like my coffee and MTG. I also like my coffee and MTG. So here's the thing. This is what the reason Birthing Pod was so good is that you utilize the cards that got value when you sacrifice them, like Voice of Resurgence, Murderous Redcap, Kitchen Finks. When they die, they came back. They had Persist. That's very important for a card like... That's going to be so important for a card like this. I think maybe the best shell might be a zombies deck that has Unearth, and you can bring the zombies back from the graveyard, like Gravecrawler. And maybe this is a new sack outlet for those decks. Like, you can bring Gravecrawler back from your graveyard, so you can, at 3 mana, sack Gravecrawler, look for a 2-drop, replay Gravecrawler from the graveyard. That's not bad value. I mean, if you sacrifice, what's it called? Gralf's Messenger, this won't be bad value either, because you sacrifice it, you hit your opponent, it comes back, and you get to look for a creature. So it maybe the best shell is going to end up being some sort of zombie, or some sort of zombie deck. I don't know how many zombies come back from the graveyard, but you know, we all know that there are quite a few. Or maybe you even can see playing vampires now, because you can play your Bloodghast, sack your Bloodghast, get a creature, play a land, get the Bloodghast back. That's a combo with Bloodghast, I guess. Well, we're already finding ways to break this card. Gravecrawler to Viscera and then Prized Amalgam will ride. Okay, we're on to something now. Maybe there's something serious here. At first, I'm like, you know what? This is a very innocent card. You know what? Some tribes, like not merfolk, not humans, not spirits, but the ones that use the graveyard, maybe they like this card. The zombie vampire, yeah. The what's it called? Don't remember the name. I know what you're talking about though. The 3/1 creature comes back if you gain 3 life. Live on YouTube, just like the old days. I remember how this kept me from studying. This is yeah, Coffee and MTG was born on YouTube and now it's back to YouTube. Bloodcast into the vampire that makes all your vamps get a +1/+1 counter whenever the vamps die. I think you have to. It has to be equal to 3. It says that shares a creature type with the sacrifice creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. So it needs to be 3. The one that you're talking about, Cordial Vampire. Whenever Cordial this only costs 2. So you'd have to sacrifice like a 1-drop into this, like the Seer or something. I think spirits will benefit too because they can sack something to call and spell. Yeah, but you're losing a card to like get their card. Like what I'm trying to say. Like what I'm trying to say is this card is not going to work if you're sacrificing your board to just upgrade your card. So like you just your board didn't get bigger or better, and also you spent some time to cast this thing on some turn. You'll tempo yourself out. So the decks that are gonna like actually, it's also sorcery, so you can't even do it at instant speed. But like the decks that are going to utilize this for sure are going to be the ones that can utilize the dead creature in some way, or get a trigger from the dead creature. Oh, you already caught yourself. Yeah. Yeah, equal to, not less than. That's very important. So you can't just, so it's not just a complete blunt tutor. Get anything you want. Bit of restriction here. Well, I have to say, in the beginning, I thought this was going to be complete crap. But now that I think that there are some shells out there that might actually want this card. Like, I don't think goblin spirits, merfolk, humans want it. Maybe vampires. Definitely maybe zombies. Like, zombies has lots of great cards that come back from the graveyard. Like, what's it called? Prized Amalgam. Prized Amalgam, they got Grave, Crawler. But, like, let's say we sacrifice the Geralf's Messenger. Like, what on earth would we get? What 4-mana zombie is worthwhile to bring in from the tutor into play? I feel like they bent over backwards to make this thing fair. Sorcery speed, exactly. CMC +1 and 2 mana instead of 1 to activate. Someone will use it, but I doubt they'll break it. Well, I mean, I think that's the idea. They Wizard, and what they should be doing is they should be erring on the more cautious side, because it's so easy to make a broken card, and they did that for the last 2 years. I wonder, is this when like Fire Design stops? Is this the is this the moment Fire Design stops with this card, Pyre of Heroes? Maybe not. Maybe this is still the continuance of Fire Design. We still don't have a Fire Design Merfolk yet. Is Yawgmoth a zombie? No, Human Cleric. Gravedigger? The classic Gravedigger. I think it's pretty crappy 4-drop, though. Zombies can use it to tutor up Gisa and Geralt from. Okay, let's. There's more than one Geralt. When Gisa and Geralf enter the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. During each of your turns, you may cast a zombie creature card from your graveyard. Still not very impressive, to be honest. I want something like a little bit more impactful. It's just a 4/4 creature, and yeah, you get to use your graveyard to find stuff. Oops, sorry. I've been covering the card. But it's mostly just a 4/4 creature. And I hope that zombies should have enough card advantage as it is. If Wizards finally learn the lessons and stops it, would be sad because it feels like Fire haven't helped everybody equally. Most definitely not. Cough ramp? What are you talking about? You're saying ramp didn't get enough stuff? Ramp? You mean those Titan decks don't have enough? I think they have too much. Croxa into Uro into Bolus. That's a hell of a combo. That's funny. You make me laugh. Oh, they have way too much health. Right. Yeah, ramp is definitely a thing these days. Yeah, you could. Ballista's on 0, turn into a 1, turn into like, yeah, the constructs can maybe find other constructs. The little worker, what was it called? Like, you can upgrade a ballista into a worker into not Ravager, it's a beast, but maybe Steel Overseer. I think there's a lot of Arcbound worker. That's right. Could elves use this? Nope. Like, this is my opinion. Elves cannot use no unless your deck can utilize, unless something happens upon death of the creature sacrificing, and like unless you get value. I don't think any tribal deck can use this. It's just pointless. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about elves because they can blurt out a bunch of elves on the battlefield. You know what? Sacrificing a I could be wrong about elves. You know, like you. Let's take what's it called? Elvish Visionary. You know, with a bunch of extra mana, I could definitely see Elvish Visionary getting upgraded to, I don't know, Elvish Archdruid or something. This is I don't like this art. It's like, it's not OG. Here's our OG art. This is an Archdruid. This is a wise old man. So other elves you control get +1/+1. I mean, it could happen. Maybe that's fine because like there's elves has so much redundant crap on the battlefield. Why not upgrade some of this stuff? You know, why not upgrade it? So I could be wrong about elves. Maybe elves is a possibility. What we really need is an easier way for oops all spells to protect their combo. Let's see another Pact of Negation effect or Veil of Summer for 0. Yeah, we are not going to see it. Elves is about quantity over quality, but they do need at least one quality card. If you have a bunch of mana dorks that do nothing, then the deck does nothing. So it's like usually quantity plus one quality card. Golgari Thug is greater than Seasoned Pyromancer? Oh, you mean Golgari Thug into Seasoned Pyromancer? Why Golgari Thug, though? Oh, you mean for Dredge? I think this would be too slow of an engine. Golgari Thug into Seasoned Pyromancer. I think that whoops, no one can see what I'm showing. I think this engine might be a little too slow. You don't even want to cast this thing. You don't even want it on the battlefield. You know what I mean? It doesn't come from doesn't get into play any other way. Some elf decks have actually survive. There was a Bramblewood Paragon. So that some elf decks got innovated to help play around Plague Engineer. Each other warrior creature you control comes to play with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. This is a 2/2 creature by itself, and if you look at most of the elf cards, they're mostly warriors. They're warriors, people. Merfolk are also warriors. Well, actually, they're soldiers, but what's the difference between a warrior and a soldier? What is the difference between those two? Is a soldier trained and a warrior is just like I don't know, just has wishful intentions of winning in battle? I don't know the difference between these two. But anyway, there's a lot of warriors and elves, and actually this helps protect the elves, and they were also playing with Draga Warcaller, which with multi-click kicker can make all your elves +1/+1. So actually, elves not seeing a ton of play, but the ones that do see play is from this version of the deck, which was featured on Coffee and MTG. It was invented here. Or I should say it was showcased here. Doesn't Kaldheim get new elves in black and green? Maybe we get something. It could be. Could most definitely happen. What decks that are sitting at tier 2 or 3 do you think need help? I would love to see mono white enchantments get a hand. Maybe a 1 CMC sack hexproof enchantment. I think if I were to take a good guess, well, first off, they could use something like replenish. Or no, what? No, actually, they don't need it replenish. They need. I'll tell you what the enchantment deck needs. It needs a win condition. It's just too prisony, and it needs to kill the opponent before someone finds an answer to their nonsense. I think that's the only problem with the enchantment deck. It might be good right now, but no one's designed it properly. And again, if I were to design this enchantment deck, I'd probably throw in Karn the Great Creator. Just throw in Karn the Great Creator. Why not? I don't know if they can protect it very well because I think. Hold on, how does Solemnity work? Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands, so you can't actually increase the counters on Karn. You can still minus. It's not going to work very well with Karn. Unless you can protect it. But, like, the deck... I mean, there was an enchantment deck, like, a really long time ago. We're talking, like, I don't know, 1997. It was called Replenish. So there was an enchantment deck. Now, not exactly to your because I think the one white like enchantment prison deck it has some similar features in that it's full of enchantments. So Replenish said return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play, and then they won with I want to say it starts with OPP. Opalescence. I think that was the card. I don't know how to spell that though. Someone help me! What was the combo with Replenish? There's gotta be an old timer out there. Oh, here it is. I found it. It is Opalescence. I just couldn't spell it. Each other global enchantment is a creature with power and toughness, each equal to its converted mana cost. It's still an enchantment. Is this reserve list? I can't tell if this is reserve list or not. Could they reprint this card? There is a legit Legacy Replenish deck with all the cycling enchantments. It's like each other global enchantment is a creature. So the idea is like you have all your enchantments and maybe you can beat your opponent down. I don't know if that's how it would work, but like I think the mono white enchantment deck obviously has something going for it. They probably need a much better win condition than they already have though. Like they're just winning too slowly. And so if you give the opponent enough time, they will find an answer to your nonsense and then they'll win the game instead. It's a very similar, it is on the reserve list. That sucks. Well, not good for anyone who wants to use Opalescence. So they put the whole combo on the reserve list. True story. Reserve list, yes. There at the bottom right corner. This is an undervalued card. Oh my god, it's $9 here. This is a very cheap reserve list card, in my opinion. I don't think people know what the hell this card does. It's a very unique effect, too. Anyway, very interesting. Oh yeah, there's something with Saproling Burst. That's pretty cool. Starfield Nix is a thing, but it is terrible. Way too expensive, and opponent just fatal pushes your keys, and you lose. Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know if Opalescence is the card that you need anyway for this type of deck, but I'm just saying, like when I play against these prison decks, they're like just passing the turn back and forth. You can't do that in Modern, all right? You just can't do that. Your opponent's gonna find Cryptic Command and bounce one of the key pieces, and then you're lost. You're dead lost. So you need to win faster, and that's as simple. It's as simple as that. Let's look at Starfield next. Oh yeah, so this is like a fixed opalescence. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's not bad, to be honest. As long as you control 5 or more enchantments. Yeah, it's a bit too much. Your enchantments become creatures. You need like a whole bunch of enchantments in play. Too slow. Too slow. I don't know what the win condition is, though, for these mono-white prison decks, but you need a win condition. It's as simple as that. Same problem with mono-red prison decks. If they want to durdle around for 10 turns after they have their lock, the lock isn't going to be a lock anymore. It's as simple as that. All right. You know what time it is, people? It's Decklist review time. So in the description, both on YouTube and Facebook, you have a link to my Discord. Go into my Discord. There is a free, and then you go to Decklist review in my Discord, and you use the command !review deck space, put the URL to the deck list. Do not put too many comments. You can put comments in the URL that you have, but there's a 100-character limit, so just keep that in mind. So if you want to get your deck list reviewed on the show, get some feedback, both myself from the community, you better believe we can do that today. So as people start submitting their deck list, we are going to thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online. FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite local game store. And they have a deal of the week every single week. So you always want to check out Fusion Gaming every week to see what the new deal is. This week, Giant Xmas sale, 50% off under hundreds of items. I see Yu-Gi-Oh! In there. I see Zendikar Rising. You want 50%. That's a huge sale. That's a big sale. 50, like when do you get 50% off? I don't even see 50% off for like Black Friday. A huge deal. So go check them out at FusionGamingOnline.com. Just remember, it's a Canadian site in Canadian prices. And we're also going to thank our sponsor, Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And if you want to play busted decks and you're afraid of them getting banned, don't buy into the deck. Just borrow it with Mana Traders. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below. Or you can save yourself 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. Okay, so I think people have already submitted quite a few decks. That's totally fine. If you want to submit more, good. You'll still be eligible. Opalescence sucks in Legacy too. Interesting. So the win condition, amazing one at that, is Enduring Ideal. Too expensive. I am aware of it. Too expensive. Way too expensive. Just way, way, way too expensive. Takes forever. I'm familiar with it though. And like even when you get Enduring Ideal off, I think you still have several turns before you actually win. So that's the problem. It just takes too long to win with mono white enchantment deck. It needs a win condition. The deck needs to change in some way to, I don't know. I have a feeling if you keep improving the deck, it might end up looking like Ad Nauseam or something. Okay, so I'll go grab some lists. Jarl the Ripper. Congratulations, Jarl. You're the next contestant on Decklist Review. See how we can help you today. My Tron. It is your Tron. Okay. We got Walking Ballista, Thragtusk, Worldbreaker, Sundering Titan, Ugin the Ineffable, Karn the Karn Liberated, 2 Ugin the Spirit Dragon, Ancient Stirring, Sylvan Scrying, Approach of the Second Sun. So this is the spice. If Approach of the Second Sun was cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library, 7th from the top, and you gain 7 life. Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Star, Expedition Map, Oblivion Stone, Blast Zone, Brushland, Forest Plains, Sanctum of Ugin, and the Tron lands. Relic, Secure the Wastes. I don't know where you want this, but this actually is a very interesting win condition for Tron because you can, I mean, with your tons of mana, you can like make a million warriors. Veil of Summer, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Spatial Contortion, Warping Whale, Wilt, Ensnaring Bridge, Cataclysmic Gearhulk, and Thragtusk. So here's the deal, though. You've got so many, like, okay. So here, why Approach of the Second Sun? How is this helping you? Are you telling me Karn the Great Creator wouldn't do the same thing? If you had set here's actually the biggest issue. Let's say, okay, is casting Approach from the Second Sun better than Karn the Great Creator into like Ensnaring Bridge? That's my question, because all the Tron-less decks right now, Karn the Great Creator, this is basically 4 of in like all the Tron decks these days, all of them. And on top of that, like, you know, when it comes to Approach of the Second Sun, you're still waiting like 7 cards to find it. Like, you can't even find it with like Ancient Stirrings, you know? I'm kind of lazy and I just want to win the game immediately. But you still have to, you need to do it twice. So it's not exactly an immediate thing. It's like 7th from the top, so you're waiting 7 more turns. I can get behind Sundering Titan. If you want to play your Sundering Titans, it's not too bad. In fact, maybe Sundering Titan has a good spot in the metagame right now. You blow up you get to 8 mana, you blow up all your opponent's lands. The Uro decks must absolutely hate you. But this, I don't know I can buy this. I don't know. I don't know if I can buy. I don't think I can buy Approach of the Second Sun. It doesn't win the game immediately because you need to cast 2 of them. See, and you're waiting 7 turns basically for the next one. And you have no card draw. There's no way of actually looking for this deck for this card. And what if, for example, and here's another non-bow. What if you cast it for the first time, you put it 7th from the top of your library, and then you draw Sylvan Scrying in between. You draw Ancient Stirrings in between. You're gonna dodge your Approach for the Second Sun. Like, or you draw your expedition maps and you want to find your blast zone or something. Yeah, like what I'm trying to say is like it has no synergy with the deck. I cannot approach this card. I would actually dump it. I would dump this card. And I think even if you were to play it, I think you would need to play 4. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. But it doesn't synergize with the deck. I would rather have, if you really wanted the life gain, I would rather have just another Thragtusk. I think that's totally reasonable. I mean, obviously, the go-to card is Karn the Great Creator. If you don't want to play this card, play another Thragtusk. Another World Breaker is totally fine, especially at 7 mana. And this is clogging your 7 mana slot. Like, when you're at 7 mana, what are you going to do? Approach? Karn? World Breaker? I think you should have a few last cards. Or I guess you've dumped some of them to make room for Approach. And I might have... I don't know if you need the 4th Oblivion Stone, but I think the deck is great. I don't even mind this card too much. Although I know from experience, getting double white is very, very hard in Tron. It's very, very hard. You have one ensnaring bridge in the sideboard, but you're not playing with Karn the Great Creator. You got to be playing with Karn the Great Creator. You can't have these one-ofs in the. You have a Karn the Great Creator sideboard, but you're not playing Karn the Great Creator. So you got one of. Well, actually, these are not. Sorry, you don't actually have a Karn the Great Creator sideboard. I would have more ensnaring bridges if you have them. Maybe you can't afford them. Maybe this is on a budget, but anyway, I would definitely gut this. No synergy with the deck, and I think you could do better with just Thrag Tusks and World Breakers, and even maybe an extra Ugin or an extra Oblivion Stone. Hey Nikachu, do you think, like many others at the moment, that Field of the Dead is broken? Because I think Uro is the real problem, and I don't know why Wizards won't ban this card. They're probably both bad. Fields of the Dead is broken though. It's already banned in like multiple formats, and Modern could be next. And a lot of people are complaining that like just between the Titan decks and the Control decks that they have this late game plan that's just unbeatable with these Field of the Deads. So anyway, Jarl, I hope that was some good feedback. Sorry, I can't give the approval to Approach of the Second Sun in a Tron deck. I can, however, to Sundering Titan. This card is awesome, and I think actually it will be well positioned. It's relatively well positioned. You'll just wipe. There's a lot of decks you'll just wipe out their entire mana base in one turn, so I think that's really cool. And even Secure the Waste is very interesting. I can't complain about that. I would definitely have another Ensnaring Bridge, maybe. Because double white in a Tron deck is difficult. A single white is easy. Double white is very difficult. So I don't know about this Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Maybe another Ensnaring Bridge instead. Anyway, I hope that was some useful feedback, and thank you very much for submitting the list. Let's get on with the deck list review. Rukax with the message. All right, Rukax, congratulations. You're the next contestant on deck list review. No worries, I'm a Storm player, though. Just want to try out Tron sometime. An Approach of the Second Sun. Ooh, look what we have here. Okay. Sorry, card cannot be found. You don't even know what Athreos... Oh, it is. Okay, found it. Oh, no, we're at Deckstats.net. Deckstats.net. Number 100 on my favorite websites to view deck lists on Coffee and MTG. It's okay, we'll live, don't worry. It just makes the card really small. Okay, indestructible. As long as your devotion to white and black is less than 7, Athreos isn't a creature. Whenever another creature you own dies, another creature you own dies. That's interesting that it says own, not control. Return it to your hand. Oh, because you return it to your hand unless target player pays 3 life. Gotcha. Blood Artist. Oh, hold on. Whenever another creature you own dies, return it to your hand unless target player... Okay, so you sacrifice your board and you're going to keep regurgitating them. So Blood Artist, whenever another creature dies, target player loses a life, you gain a life. Bontu the Glorified. Sacrifice. So this is a sacrifice outlet. You get to scry. Each opponent loses life, you gain a life. This looks... Maybe I should have put this in my zombie deck. It's a sacrifice, or my zombie or vampire deck. Bontu looks actually pretty good. Can't attack or block unless a creature died under your control this turn. Well, that's difficult to attack, but the scrying and sacrificing is nice. Bontu's Monument. Black creature spells cost 1 less. Whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. This is like Aristocrats, basically. Whenever Cruel Celebrant or another Planeswalker you control die, or another creature or Planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses life, you gain a life. Dread Wanderer. You can bring it. Good sack outlook. You can bring it back. Fatal Push. Fleshbag Marauder, ETB, each player sacrifices a creature. Godless Shrine, Grave Pact, whenever creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. Gravecrawler, Isolated Chapel. Do we have enough zombies for Gravecrawler? This is a zombie. This is a zombie. This is a god. This is a vampire. This one's iffy, but I know what you mean. I know what you're trying to do, so I guess it's fine. Dead of Winter. That's a good one. God, Eternal Oketra, Leyline of Sanctity, Leyline of the Void, Oblivion Ring. What's the Oblivion Ring for, just out of curiosity? That's a very unique card to have here. And Oketra the True. Ghost Rider is maybe better than Bantu? Oops. So 3 mana, 3/2, ETB, create a goat, sack a creature, scry 1, escape for 5. Woe Strider escapes with. Yeah, you could be true. That could be right. But like this is not indestructible. I don't know if that matters in this deck. We do have a lot of indestructible stuff as it is, though. Indestructible is indestructible. What can I sell? What can I say? But isn't Blood Moon enough to hold Field of the Dead in check? But not enough people are playing Blood Moon. You would think it is, but not enough Blood Moon decks exist in the metagame. Yeah, maybe the Dread Wanderer is really bad in zombies. You could use Carrion Feeder. Yeah, Carrion Feeder actually is a pretty good upgrade maybe in this deck. Doesn't come back from the graveyard, though. Well, I mean, okay, I think the idea is Gravecrawler and what's it called, Dread Wanderer. How do you return this from the graveyard to the battlefield? Activate this ability only time you could cast a sorcery, and only if you have one or fewer cards in hand. The idea is not it's not the it's just something to regurgitate back from the graveyard. So I mean, Carrion Feeder is a good sack outlet. Carrion Feeder is not a recyclable card. Grouse Messenger is probably too expensive for this deck. I think the 3-drop slot is already pretty clogged. I mean, maybe it's better than Fleshbag Marauder. It could be better than. I'm not sold honestly on Fleshbag. Whenever it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. I have found that Edict effects suck in Modern. So maybe Messenger is better than Marauder. I've played with Edict, quite a few Edict effects. Like, this is why Liliana the Veil is not what she used to be. An Edict effect is just not good anymore. I think this Grave Pact is to win more. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. I would just play more creatures. I think this is just like too janky in my opinion. And it's 4 mana. It's like really expensive. I'd rather you had like a game-winning bomb here at 4 mana than to have something that just says, you know, we're going to make other people sack creatures. Especially since I don't think you have any free sacrifice outlets. No, you have no free sacrifice outlets. I don't know. Maybe you should have some Carrion Feeders in this deck. So you might want okay, I'll say this much. Put Carrion Feeder in this deck. You have to. Because you don't have any free way of sacrificing your creatures. It's super grindy and mana hungry. So I would say let's put in. You know what? Maybe put in some Woe Striders, because this does have a free sacrifice outlet, and also put in Carrion Feeder. So let's make some room for both these cards, because if you can sacrifice things for free, and that's really powerful in this deck, you need to be able to do it for absolute free. That's when you go off, because you might have everything in play, but you have no way of like sacrificing everything, and you might like spending mana to do it isn't going to be good. We want to be able to do it for free. So how about we get rid of? We're gonna get rid of Grave Pact. Let's get rid of. Let's shave on the legendary cards. We'll shave on an Athreos. We'll shave on a Bantu Glorified. We'll shave on some. Maybe we'll shave on like Bantu's Monument. Okay, so we have 5 slots now. Let's get rid of. And maybe we have we get rid of some Fleshbag Marauders. And we squeeze in 4 Carrion Feeders. And 4 Carrion Feeders, and then 4 Woe Striders. And I think that would help the deck a lot. And then you would have 8 cards where you can sack. You immediately sack things and then get your triggers online. And yeah, maybe cut the Fleshbags, the Grave Packs, and shave on some of the legendary cards. Because you can't have multiple legendary cards on the battlefield anyway. I guess you technically could sacrifice them, but it's a bit awkward. Actually, Seer's not too bad either, but probably this deck would want the power. Well, I can't speak for Bantu's Monument. I mean, I would think it's too slow, but it gains you life. So, as if let's say I'm allowed to play 2 creatures next turn and I can gain that life back, that might be worth it. But I'd be very scared about having too many of these clogged in my hand. Like if I have 2 Bantu's Monument in my hand, they're dead. If I have 2 Bantu Glorified in my hand, they're dead. If I have 2 Athreos in my hand, they're dead. I'd be very concerned about this. I mean, maybe we should shave 2 here, shave 2 here, shave 2 here, just to make sure that that never happens. I can't tell how like super important these cards are. I mean, I like the effect, make no mistake. But if you have multiples in your hand, they're card disadvantage. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so how about this? If you're sacrificing your legends for triggers quite often, let's dump 2 of each of these and the Grave Pact. That's 8 cards. Carrion Feeder and Woe Strider are coming in, and you'll do great. I can't really speak to the sideboard. I think you should have better cards than Oketra, true though. And God Eternal Oketra. I'm not sure what that should be. Maybe more spot removal. Maybe Oriok. Well, maybe you don't need Oriok Champion because you're already gaining a lot of life. So you probably have a good game against a lot of other decks. Maybe a 4th Dead of Winter. I'm not sure. Memnite and Athreos is gas? How does that work? Is that a combo? Whenever another creature you control... Oh, but the opponent can pay 3 life. So you sacrifice your Memnite. I don't know if it's gas. Hold on. Whenever another creature you own dies, so you sacrifice it, you're going to get some triggers. It's a bit janky. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. All right. I hope that was some... I think that was some good, useful feedback for this type of deck. And it's actually... I think this is a cool deck. I think this is really neat. I mean, I think this is the... what's it called? The Aristocrats deck a lot of people are trying to make, but they just can't put it together. And this actually looks like it moves in the right direction. Because everything... It just needs it just needs sack outlets. Outside of that, it's got everything else in it. Nice stuff. All right, thanks for sharing. And that's going to be it for Decklist reviews and also for Coffee and MTG. So thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. I had a lot of fun. Hope you all had a lot of fun. And don't forget that, you know, if I didn't see your comments, your questions, I didn't get to your deck list, it's okay. We do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. There's always another day of Coffee and MTG. So thank you very much for making me part of your daily routine. If you want to support the channel, don't forget, I got a Patreon, patreon.com/Nikachu MTG. And also, you can support the channel on Twitch by becoming a subscriber there. I do gameplay on the weekend on Monday. And if you have Prime with Amazon, you can link your Twitch and Prime account and you can support the channel for free. Don't let Jeff Bezos' money sit cold and dirty. So, as usual, keep brewing up that coffee and we keep brewing up magic. See you next time.